What's up everybody and welcome to the Fight Franchise and our recap and review of the main event of UFC 308 where Ilia Topuria successfully defended his featherweight title against Max Blessed Holloway in one of the most shocking kind of performances we've seen all year. To see Max Holloway knocked out is a sight to behold because, you know, for so long he's been a granite chin, and when you look at some of the fighters he's fought who with the power coming the other way, he's withstand all their power, and then finally Ilia Topuria comes in and shows, hey look, I've got the power to put Max Holloway out cold and retain my featherweight title. He walked the walk and he talked the talk. I'm going to kind of break down the fight, the preview of how it kind of went down, and then kind of look forward to what I want to see for both guys. So fight kicks up. Well, we'll just talk about like before the fight. Ilia Topuria was super confident and was saying, I'm going to KO Max Holloway. I'm going to break his chin. And a lot of fans were saying, no, Ilia Topuria can't do it, because the main reason they were saying he survived Justin Gaethje's power and he survived, you know, Dustin Poirier's power at 155. Those guys are hard hitters. It just seems probably Max Holloway's more durable at that division, 155, just because he doesn't have to cut as much weight. But Ilia Topuria may just be pound for pound a harder puncher than those guys, especially because those guys, I feel like they have just natural power. Ilia Topuria has power with technique, and power with technique is just another level. So that's a huge thing for Ilia Topuria. You know, he was, and that was the other thing, he was super confident. And it did feel like Max Holloway was intimidated by the power of Ilia Topuria. But the fight kicks off, and you know, straight away Ilia Topuria, super confident, runs into the center of the octagon and points down to the middle and says, "Come meet me in the center." And Max Holloway's like, you know, come on, Matador versus the Bull, and he's like, okay. And then Ilia Topuria and kind of presses forward. And in my preview, I kind of did a massive kind of 20-minute in-depth preview of kind of where I see the successes for both guys. And it was very much how I kind of said it. Ilia would stand the center, and Max Holloway would kind of play the mid to long range with Ilia kind of pressing forward. And the first round, they kind of have a couple of backs and forths, and Max Holloway's quite tentative coming in back and forth, and then Ilia shoots for a takedown, and then that was very smart by Ilia Topuria, because that kept Max guessing, like going into the second and third round, like, you know, will he wrestle more and try and grapple me more, and I have to keep my hands just a bit lower just to sprawl and be ready for the shot, or ready for those underhooks for when he comes in for the takedown. He wrestles him. Max kind of gets up from the grappling and shows, hey, look, I can get back up, and they're kind of trading back and forth on the feet. But Max is finding some good range and rhythm within that first round, you know, landing some huge shots, landing the jab. Both guys are kind of trading kicks. Ilia's landing that leg kick, that calf kick early on to try and disrupt Max's base. And it was a very close back and forth round. You could have gone either way. When I watched it live, I gave it for Max Holloway. But if you gave it for Ilia Topuria, I wouldn't be so surprised. Second round comes, and Ilia's kind of putting his foot on the gas a bit more now. He's putting a bit more into his shot and finding the range. And at one point in the second round, he kind of stings Max Holloway, and Max has a great poker face. He hits Max Holloway. Max Holloway just stumbles slightly and just kind of stays on it and stays in the rhythm. And Max does brilliant, kind of playing the long range, coming in with his jab, landing straight right hands, landing the jab, landing the elbow. And they have a competitive back and forth round. And I think at the end, Ilia stumbles Max Holloway. But yeah, both guys have got each other's respect. And it kind of nip and tuck, and we could have been ready for a 5-round war. And then the third round begins, and then it's the beginning of the end. The third round, Ilia Topuria is trading back and forth with Max Holloway, and he lands, I believe it was a huge left hand. He lands a huge left hand which stuns Max Holloway. He is rocked, and Max has been rocked like this before against Dustin Poirier, and Max backs up against the fence. And this is one of the things I said in the preview. I said, don't, when you get, because it's inevitable you were going to get rocked, I thought, into the fight. Don't be afraid to clinch. Just play it safe. Like, just stop the barrage and battering. He does great. He kind of feints and blocks and circles off the cage, which was fantastic. But even in those moments, like, don't be afraid to clinch and just calm the action, calm the aggression, and calm the baseline. But he kind of circles away, but he's still stunned. And then he's kind of going, you know, and this is one thing with a lot of fighters, not just in MMA, it's in boxing as well. When they get hit or they get got, they want to get it back. They want to hit that person back, because it's like, you got me, now it's my turn to get you back. And it's a very bad habit for fighters. They need to just kind of go, okay, I've been rocked, let me play it safe and get my whereabouts back, and then we'll continue. Max he gets rocked, his hands are low, and Ilia's just kind of throws a combination, and then the last shot, he throws, I think it was a huge left hand, stuns Max Holloway. Max goes crashing. You know when they say Max has never been knocked down, it was over. Like, there was debates, was he knocked down against Gaethje? Was he knocked down against Poirier because the cage saved him? He was knocked down. He went tumbling down like a tree. Timber, follow-up shots for Ilia Topuria, and Ilia Topuria, Mark Goddard steps in and Ilia Topuria defends his title and is the first man to KO Max Holloway. Excellent performance by Ilia Topuria. I predicted he would win by decision. I did say he could knock him out, but it was just fantastic. He's proved he's the best boxer in the UFC. He's showing crisp level of boxing like we haven't seen in ages in the UFC. He's showing a level of MMA that just is kind of undeniable at the minute in the sport and the featherweight division. You know, he deserves huge credit. You know, Ilia Topuria is a hated guy in the sport. Why? Because he talks a lot of trash and he's confident, but that makes him so fun to watch because there's stakes on his fight. You know, you look at other divisions, you're just like, it's a pay-per-view, I've got to watch it. But when you're watching Ilia Topuria, like I said in my preview, if it was a game of poker, Ilia Topuria is just all in. He puts it all on the line. He puts so much pressure on himself. He can't lose. He can't afford to lose. If he loses, he's going to be an embarrassment to his family, his friends, Spain, Georgia. But more than anything, he's going to be an embarrassment for himself. And Ilia Topuria is one of those guys. He cannot let himself down. He cannot let himself lose, which is kind of a superpower in a sense. You know, McGregor did it in his prime. McGregor, you know, talked the talk, backed it up so much. He was saying so much, I'm going to beat these guys. He's a P-head. I'm going to KO him. No one can take this left hand. And that makes you've put all this pressure on yourself now. You've got to work hard and get those wins because if you don't, you're going to look a fool. And Topuria is doing the same thing and it's working. He's talking the talk and he's walking the walk and he's doing it brilliantly. So credit to Ilia Topuria. What a win. The one thing I will say about Ilia Topuria at the moment, and there's a few of these guys in the UFC at the minute, there's so many well-rounded mixed martial artists at the top of the UFC. I feel next year it could be a very, very heated race for who is the best fighter in the world. John Jones you've got at the minute, who is he might retire, but you've got Tom Aspinall, who is super well-rounded. You've got Ilia Topuria, super well-rounded. You've got Islam Makhachev, super well-rounded, and Shavkat Rakhmonov, who, if he beats Bilal, will be at the top in the pound-for-pound rankings. You've got these kind of four guys who are it feels like there was kind of like specialists who were champions for so long. You know, you had the striker in Izzy, you had the grapplers in kind of Usman, but now it just seems like these all-round mixed martial artists are coming back and taking over. And you've got a very heated race at the top of who could become the best in the world right now. So very, very exciting time atop the UFC in the champion sphere. Even Alexandra Pantoja, you know, some people say he's boring. Very well-rounded fighter. He's up there as well. But Ilia Topuria he's a generational talent. He could genuinely become one of the best ever. You look at his run already and the wins he's got, and not just wins, finishes he's got. The only person he failed to finish was Josh Emmett, and he battered Josh Emmett, who took a beating. I'm surprised he didn't get KO'd. But when you look at Ilia Topuria, he is just another generation. Like, he could, and the unfortunate thing for Ilia Topuria is the fact that Max and Alex Volkanovski kind of have cleared the most of this division and have beaten them before. Like, for fresh challenges, okay. To be fair, actually, Ilia Topuria, if he's going to probably rematch Volk in Madrid, he's saying, then fight Movzar or Diego Lopez, and then kind of the winner of Movzar and Aljo. That's two kind of fresh defenses. I feel like the competition-wise, this featherweight division, there's not many people coming through at the minute, which is unfortunate for Ilia Topuria because we want him to be an active fighter and kind of solidify himself, because you're looking, if he has 3 fights next year, you beat Volkanovski, beat Max Holloway, beat Volk again, beat, let's say, Diego Lopez, and then beat Movzar or Aljo by the end of next year. You're putting together a generational run, and you're not even, 28, 29. sky's the limit for Ilia Topuria. So credit for him. Big win. Want to see him against, Alex Volkanovski's next. So we want to see him versus Alex Volkanovski. The only crap thing, he wants it in the Santiago Bernabeu. I'm not sure that will be, unless there's an international break in football, because if for those who don't know, in the football season, kind of Real Madrid, his team play weekly. So unless it's an international break and they can kind of schedule a UFC in that, then we can kind of get that. As for Max Holloway, unlucky for him to see him lose is kind of a sad sight. But go up to 155. There's some fun matchups up there, I'm certain of it. You can rematch Charles Oliveira. There's the Conor McGregor fight. Potential fight with Michael Chandler if he loses to Oliveira. So many cool matchups. The Dustin Poirier trilogy bout. So many cool matchups for him up there. Just a shame, 155, he couldn't regain his title. He's had kind of 3 failed cracks at regaining that title, 2 against Volkanovski and now against Ilia Topuria. It's unlucky, but he's an undoubted Hall of Famer. He will be a Hall of Famer and he's a generational great himself. So credit for Max Holloway for putting on a show and, putting it all on the line. What did you guys think of the fight? Just before I actually let go, is Ilia Topuria the fighter of the year, which is a crazy argument. I said Alex Pereira is fighter of the year easily. But seeing how he's just dispatched Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria, who are both on the pound-for-pound list, and KO'd them brutally, there is a massive argument that those 2 wins stack up better than Alex Pereira's 3 wins against Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska, and Khalil Roundtree. 3 good light heavyweights versus 2 featherweights who are both in the pound-for-pound rankings. Which weighs more, Maybe recency bias at the moment. I may be even leaning towards Ilia Topuria. Probably need to sit and just think about who I would rack up as fighter of the year, but it's very close contested. Like previous years, we haven't had it this close and contested for fighter of the year. So it's really entertaining to see that the fighter of the year this year is kind of like very, very close and very entertaining. So credit to Ilia Topuria for managing to get 2 KO wins against 2 of the best featherweights of all time and 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world at the moment. So yeah, even better. So who do you think is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? Is it Alex Pereira? Is it Ilia Topuria? Put that down in the comments below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA fight content coming soon. What did you think of the fight? Do you think Ilia Topuria has the future, has the kind of what it has to take to become a future GOAT in the sport? Let us know down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you in the next one.